Good morning, everyone. This is Erica with Aurora Heart Healing. Today, I have some really beautiful messages. At least they're beautiful to me. This morning, when I came into my office, I was really excited because I'm setting up my microphone. The father of my children actually gave this to me because he said I'm doing really great on my videos and he wanted to support. So I'm just being grateful and feeling good about how different things have fallen into place in life. And today being the last day of the new year, I was manifesting a lot last night. Like yesterday was the new moon. So I don't know if anyone had done any type of manifestation, writing letters. Me and my kids, we sat around, we wrote letters, and we set our intention for the new year, as well as called in our magical power from the new moon. And as we burned the letters, the thought in my mind kept coming up, and it was, nothing in this world that is worth having was ever easy. And that message it rang through all night when I was dreaming, and it even rang through this morning when I had been talking to another one of my friends. And through that, I was really intrigued at that notion of nothing that is worth having is easy. And yes, I do believe that there's a lot of things that should be effortless, but it takes time. It takes effort. It takes parts of ourselves that sometimes we might not want to look at to be able to get those really amazing big aha moments, or that time where we actually are able to get something that we value and truly cherish. So, with that being said, today I got messages from Brene Brown, Atlas of the Heart, and I'm just going to share with you a few things that I picked out. I was just scrying. I used my pendulum to figure out what messages needed to be heard for the collective, for myself, and what messages are really going to be helpful and impactful going into this new year. The first thing, vulnerability is not weakness, it's our greatest measure of courage. Um, So the other day, I took myself out to dinner and I was sitting eating, and someone that I knew a long time ago, he came and he sat next to me, and we kind of like, I looked and he looked, and we were like, oh my God, hi. So we started talking. And as we were conversating, they were talking about some of their stories and how it was difficult for them to express themselves in different ways. And I actually sat there and I told him that vulnerability is actually one of our biggest strengths. It actually takes a lot of courage to be known, who you truly are, to be known. It takes a lot of grounded confidence within yourself to be able to say, look, here I am. This is what's going on. And this is everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, the dirty, the clean, all of the things. Here it is. And here I am. And with that, there was a few different aha moments that I was really feeling good about that I was able to give him, but he was also able to give me, which was a very tender moment for me to see the vulnerability of the opposite sex kind of unfold in front of me when they hadn't really wanted to do that before. The next thing is, the brokenhearted are the bravest among us all. They dared to love. Again, nothing that is worth having. Sorry, there was little glimmers over here. Nothing that is worth having is easy. When we put out our vulnerability and we put our best foot forward, sometimes we will fall. It's just a part of life. And as I've studied and as I've learned and as I've grown more and more, I've started to really understand that no matter how much I can invest my heart into something, my soul into something, it's not always going to work. And for me, at least, I am going to try till the very last moment. But also, if the energy isn't being reciprocated, got to stop. But it didn't mean that you didn't put your heart into it. People that risk heartbreak are truly brave and courageous. That passion to say, you know what, I might fall, but that's okay because I'm going to be able to tell this story afterwards. And this is who I am right now. And I'm going to continue. And that's hard. A lot of people stay stuck for a really long time because it's easy. The path of least resistance is least resistant. To a certain degree, your soul, your soul will always call you to what it is that it wants inside. Sometimes it takes a few slaps in the face to listen. The next message that I read was cultivating meaningful connection is a daring and vulnerable practice that requires grounded confidence and courage to walk alongside others and story stewardship. So when I go back, vulnerability is something that I was talking about this friend that I had that we sat and we had dinner together by divine appointment. Let's put it that way. So by divine appointment, we sat and we talked, and I was very vulnerable about some of the things that I had been going through, and he was very vulnerable about that as well. After I was courageous in mine, he wasn't able to be vulnerable until I was vulnerable. And it was that fear that kind of, she might judge me, she might say something, what could happen? And through that, I see how difficult it can be for people to truly not just open up, but to very much so feel safe enough to. The next part of that was my story. Everything that I told this person, everything that I was vulnerable about, helped them. It guided them. My story offered stewardship to this person. My journey offered insight to this person. His story offered guidance, insight, understanding, reflection. Reflection isn't always easy. It can make you stop and say, whoa, this is who I was. This is what I've done. They actually said I was intimidating, and I was taken aback. Like, how? Why? What would make you think that? And in that moment, it was, oh, when we shared, when we were vulnerable, when I told them that that was one of my insecurities of being intimidating because I don't feel that I am menacing in any way. But after we spoke and we talked, there was a deeper connection that was created. But it was also hard to do. It was worth it. But there was a couple of times where I wanted to cry during the conversation. There was a couple of times where I felt very exposed. And during that time, I also thought nothing worth having has ever come easy. It just doesn't. I want to meet goals in my business. That hasn't been easy. Not always. There's been certain things that has taken effort, time, commitment. And that commitment to me is valuable. I am committed to myself. So I commit to the actions that serve my highest good every moment. And that is hard. Yesterday, when I went to my gym class and I was pouring sweat, and I was like, the mind, the little thought in my head that kept saying, oh my God, you're going to die, stop. That path of least resistance looked really, really, really appealing. But as I continued, I said, I can do this. And my strength was renewed. You can do this. Whatever you feel that you need in your life, or that you love, or that you're passionate about, if you put in effort, if you refuse to take the path of least resistance, whatever you put your work into, it will have been worth it in the end. The last message that I got from the book, which I will put in the description, of course, as always, I also learned something that has changed how I move through my life on a daily basis. Our connection with others can only be as deep as our connection with ourselves. I'm going to let that sink in, and I'm going to repeat that. Our connection with others can only be as deep as our connection with ourselves. If I don't know and understand who I am and what I need, what I believe, I can't share myself with you. I need to be connected to myself in my own body and learning what makes me work. This is how I start to develop the grounded confidence I need to move through the world and cultivate meaningful connection with others. Before this work, I didn't give enough importance to spending time and energy connecting to myself. I made that optional. If I had anything left after connecting with others, it wasn't working. And now I know why. Connecting to yourself is one of the hardest things that you'll ever learn. Through my journey, I have learned more and more every single day that choosing myself is hard. Choosing who I am and who I want to be, what my vows are, what my commitments are, what my morals are, what my standards are, what my values are, to uphold them is not easy. It's not. And it's important to express that. But it's also important to know and to say that sometimes when it hurts, that I've had to let go of things that compromise my integrity, my values, my standards, afterwards is where the real magic happens. Afterwards is where the real growth happens. After that pain, that anguish, whatever it is, that frustration, that sadness, that loneliness, after I connect with myself and know what it is that I need more than anything, and after I've suffered the turmoil, it feels like I have grounded myself into a deeper sense of who I am and created more confidence and esteem of who I am. Self-esteem comes from saying, I'm going to do this, and then you do. Self-esteem comes from affirming to yourself every day, I am going to the gym for 30 minutes, even if it kills me. Unless it even you do. You do. That's where confidence comes from. Confidence comes from keeping your word to yourself. Anything worth having is worth the work for it. It's worth the effort. And this new year, today doesn't have to be the only time that you decide, okay, I'm going to commit to this and this is what I'm going to do for 6, 3, 2 months, 1 week. When you commit to yourself, this is long term. When you commit to yourself, it is forever. On the hard days, when you feel like giving up, you tell yourself, I know it's hard, but if it wasn't hard, it wouldn't be worth it. It wouldn't have been worth it if it wasn't hard. Nobody ever became something without sweat. Make sure that that sweat is worth it, because you could be sweating about living a mediocre life that you really didn't want to live, or you can be sweating about how you are building every single day, every single moment, the building blocks to your empire and your future. Whatever it is in your life that you feel would be worth the work, promise yourself, commit to yourself, and build that esteem in yourself for keeping your promises to you. And just watch how your world changes and watch how the world changes around you, because you will move different. You will be different and you will love it. So, to all my people out there making their New Year's resolutions, starting to commit to something, figuring themselves out in different ways, I hope that this helps you today, that you build a foundation that doesn't crack because it is firmly rooted within you, not expecting someone else to come and fix those cracks. Because if you don't put in the work, can you really trust that it got done? I hope that this helped every single one of you, not just form deeper connections with others, but with yourself as well. Because that's the number one, right? If you cannot share who you are because you don't know who you are, you cannot connect with others. And connecting with others is beautiful. It's amazing. Connecting with your dreams is beautiful and amazing. Trust me, I'm living it every day. So have a wonderful New Year's. Please be safe, drive safe, watch for the other drivers out there because that's scary too. And start off this new year with a new mindset and build it every single day. I love you all. Have a wonderful day.